hydrogen and ammonia and moving away from fossil fuel. The challenge for India is whether it can make it commercially viable using its source of technology. And the fourth is that we have pushed for the quantum computing mission. A lot of work has been done by IIT in Chennai, etc. But quantum computing is another fourth key area of growth for India. So in many of these new cutting-edge areas of growth, we've got in AI mission, the semiconductor mission, the quantum computing mission, the green hydrogen mission, all this, and most of them we are supporting through the production-linked incentive scheme. So I've given you this perspective of how India moved from the fragile 5 to the top 4 in the last 7-8 years. But the Prime Minister's vision is that from 4 trillion you move to $30+ trillion economy in the next 22 years. 4 trillion to $30+ trillion, lift every Indian above the poverty line. That's the challenge he's thrown. Now this means when you move from 4 trillion to $30+ trillion economy, this implies that India's GDP has to grow 9x. Its per capita income has to grow 8x. Its manufacturing has to grow 16x. That's the challenge. 9x, 8x, 16x. Only 3 countries in the world, post-World War II, only 3 countries in the world have been able to do this. Japan post-World War II, Korea between 70s and 90s, and China from 1990 to 2020, scorching paces of growth at 9.2, 9.6 and 10.2% per annum. Year after year of growth. Now India can do this only if it is able to grow at 9% plus for 3 decades or more. That's the challenge for India. 3 decades or more growth of 9%, 8.5%, 9% year after year, 3 decades or more. That's the challenge. Only 3 countries have been able to do it. All other countries in the world got caught in the middle income trap. And today there are 108 countries in the world which are caught in the middle income trap. So if India has to do this, what does India need to do? That is the challenge.
Employment.
Now first and foremost, India is confronted by global challenges. When these countries were growing, global trade was growing, it was expanding. The world was expanding, there was growth taking place, there was free trade. Japan could sell Toyota cars and Honda cars in the United States. China could export to the rest of the world post Kissinger's visit to Beijing. All that has come to an end. There are 3 basic issues we must understand which is happening in today's world. First is that the period of relative stability post-World War II, the period of stability post-World War II from 1945 onwards, which enabled United Nations, Security Council, World Trade Organization, all these institutions, multilateral institutions to come up, has come to an end. The period of stability has come to an end. You're seeing a war in the heart of Europe for the last 4 years. Over 180,000 people have died there. You're seeing a war in the Middle East where 350,000 people died. So the period of stability has come to an end. Institutions like United Nations, Security Council, World Trade Organization are irrelevant. They become redundant because they did not keep pace with the changing times. They were frozen in times, they became irrelevant. Irrelevant because if India is in the top 4 countries of the world, India is not a member of Security Council, whereas United Kingdom, which is now 7th or 8th, is still there. So these institutions didn't move with time. One of the members of the Security Council is at war for the last 4 years, so the relative period of stability has come to an end. You are seeing wars. The second is that these countries grew on the back of globalization, global value chains, and the ability to export and penetrate global markets at low cost. That period of global value chain expanding and globalization expanding has come to an end. You're seeing protectionism in its worst form. You're seeing tariffs being imposed. You're seeing President Trump imposing 130% tariff on China, negotiating, bringing it down, China putting tariffs on the United States, Mexico putting 50% tariff on India yesterday, Trump putting tariff on India 50%. So the period of globalization, global value chains has come to an end. And therefore, you will have to do a lot of bilateral negotiations, you'll have to do regional negotiations, you'll have to build bilateral trade agreements and regional trade agreements. That will be critical. But in the midst of these two disruptions around the world, there is a third thing happening. And that is that we are living in an age, we're sitting at this point of time, at a time when the world will see the biggest rise in productivity and growth ever seen in the world. And that is because of data, machine learning, the rise of artificial intelligence and quantum computing. We are living in an era of the greatest era of prosperity which the world will ever see. What was not physically possible earlier, what was physically not possible will be possible because of the use of AI. It was not possible to improve learning outcomes of our children earlier because it was not possible to take tests around 1 crore, 1.5 crore people. You can do this using artificial intelligence. You can monitor the attendance of teachers. You can do tests every day, give them the results. You can check outcomes. You can improve health outcomes. You can improve learning outcomes. You can change stunting, wasting, nutritional standards across the world. So we are living at a time when technology can be used to transform lives of citizens